Ron Dennis has nothing but praise for Game after surviving the Monaco Grand Prix, saying it takes a very skilled driver to pull that off, and he's very surprised that Williams didn't know what kind of driver they had. These comments have led to speculation, however, that McLaren are inquiring about Game for a drive for 1992, but he's keeping that very hush and Game isn't saying anything either. Silverstone will not be ready to host the 1991 British Grand Prix after some difficulties and unforeseen issues with the track changes, meaning it will not be ready in time for its slot on the calendar. Donington will host the British Grand Prix. A spokesperson at the track said he's very disappointed to not be hosting the race this season. However, they will be absolutely ready for 1992, and with the changes that they're making, expect the racing to be even better. Huge news for Ligier as Peugeot and Ligier announce a collaboration that Peugeot will supply them works engines for 1992 in a support to help the French team climb the ranks in Formula 1 and boost their global brand. However, it won't be a full works agreement, but a spokesperson said it's pretty much as good as it's an incredible deal for the French team, a big investment which will allow them to update their facilities, make the car even better, and fingers crossed attract some big names. It seems to be a great time to be with the Ligier team. Hello and welcome to the 1991 French Grand Prix, live from Magny-Cours. It has been a few weeks since the Monaco Grand Prix, that chaotic Monaco Grand Prix. But we're ready, we're good to go. Like, subscribe, and let's get straight on with the Grand Prix. Here is the grid. Berger takes pole position ahead of his teammate Senna in a McLaren 1-2 Ferrari. Take the second row with a Lacey leading Prost in third and fourth. Game outqualifies Nigel Mansell once again to take a Williams third row in fifth and sixth. And Alessandro Nannini is just ahead of his teammate Riccardo Patrese in 8th place. Huge for the Benetton team as they use their new car properly for the first time this weekend. Bertrand Gachot outqualifies Michael Schumacher for the Jordan team in the 9th and 10th. 11th is Nakajima, 12th is Gugelmin, and 13th is Capelli, 14th is Johnny Herbert. Modena takes 15th with Mika Hakkinen is 16th. Boutsen is 17th in the Ligier with Eric Comas just behind him in 18th. Mark Blundell taking 19th with Martin Brundle in 20th. Alboreto takes 21st with Cafe rounding off the grid in 22nd. And we are away, but it's a slow start for ourselves. We've got Nigel Mansell just to the left, but he's going to breeze straight past us as we dive towards turn one. The two Ferraris battling just ahead of us. Ahead of them is the two McLarens, but we come sweeping through the first few corners. Mansell stays ahead of us for now, but that appears to be a Lacey, seems to have jumped Senna off the line. Is that a Lacey? It was one of the Ferraris. Berger still leads with, it is a Lacey. Senna, Prost, ourselves, we're up the inside of Nigel Mansell as we get towards the hairpin break. And we're going to go deep. We are going to get the car stopped, try not to crash into the back of Alain Prost, taking us both out of the Grand Prix. Ooh, now that's not too bad. We're back up into where we started, ahead of Nigel Mansell, but have we got any pace for the Ferrari of Alain Prost ahead of us? But we need to settle down into a nice little rhythm. It's a rhythm-based track, this. You kind of get out of rhythm and it all starts going hayward, but we are giving Prost a hard time on this opening lap. Can we force the three-time world champion in to Pacific? This is a replay of the start. And as you can see there, a Lacey with a monstrous start. He just swept around the outside of Senna by the looks of things, while we were looking at the Austrian of Gerhard Berger, who leads from pole position here. Everyone's out a little bit wide as they dip a couple of wheels onto the gravel. That hasn't seemed to have slowed anyone down as they file down. But we're going to look at the onboard of a Lacey who just gets a rocket of a start. They've been saying all season that Ferrari's rapid off the line. But he did seem to lift before turn one. Maybe he was worried about getting into the inside back of Gerhard Berger. We look back at the rest of the chasing pack. Senna, Prost, Mansell, and then Game. We obviously now know Game has repassed Mansell for 6th place. But Mika Hakkinen is in all sorts of problems. He can't even get the car going. Clutch issues again, but he's out of the Grand Prix. We cut back towards the end of the first lap of this 1991 French Grand Prix. We are hounding the back of that Ferrari. Can we see a way past? We know that Ferrari's quick in a straight line, but Prost made a little mistake on the exit. We're going to stay in the slipstream. Are we going to have the pace to get past? We're going to stay in this slipstream though, but look at the speed of that Ferrari. Even with our slipstream, we have got no match for the Ferrari power in the back of his car. And we remain in P5. Ooh, but the problem is, you can see in the distance there, it appears that Alesi and Senna seem to be streaking ahead just a little bit, but Berger is checking out at the front. Loves this circuit, he was saying at the start of the weekend. But here is Senna all over the back of Jean Alesi. It appears the McLaren seems to be the favoured car around here. And Alesi's made a little error. Is that going to allow Senna up the inside? He's not going to allow Senna up the inside. Managed to get the car back across, defending for his life, the Frenchman of Jean Alesi. Lovely, lovely stuff, but Senna still continues to hound. Is he going to be able to find a way past that Ferrari? But Alesi, who has been incredibly unlucky this season, many say that he's been the star of the show, but we'll see if that continues. But at the end of the first lap, Berger leads, Alesi second, Senna third. Then it's Prost, Gay, Mansell rounding up the points paying positions, but then it's Nannini, Patrese in the Benettons. Gasho still ahead. Schumacher's lost out to Johnny Herbert off the line. I wonder if we'll be able to get a replay of that soon, or maybe we won't. But everyone, apart from Mika Hakkinen, remains in the Grand Prix, so we've got 21 runners out of a possible 22, but here, flashing back, is Game going to be able to dive or get any form of move done on the Frenchman of Alain Prost, who defends the inside line. So Game switches back to the outside line. He's going to hit him with a switcheroo, and Guy dips a wheel on the gravel Prost, and that's going to allow Game past up into fourth place. A rare error from the Frenchman, but Game now ahead of the Ferrari and up to P4. Can he set his sights on Senna and Alesi ahead? We need some good pace here. We know we're quicker than Prost, but doesn't mean we're quicker than Alesi. I don't think we've got the legs for Senna. But here's a replay of Herbert getting past Schumacher on the first lap. Schumacher incredibly cautious as they head into the really overly cautious, and Herbert just snatches P10 from him. I'm surprised there. Usually the rookie German Michael Schumacher is very, very feisty. That's incredibly rare from him. But we get back to the action now, and we are chasing Senna and Alesi. It would appear that Alesi is now holding Senna up, but Senna cannot find a way past the monstrous engine, the power of that Ferrari. But let's continue. We've still got a long way to go. We're only on lap 5. Berger seems to be streaking out quite a bit here, but we are all over the back of Senna. If we can get past Senna, we might be able to nudge ourselves past Alesi. I don't know. Possibly a P2 on here, possibly a P2. Berger looks mighty around here though, so that could be difficult, but we will just be cautious as Senna dips a huge amount of wheel onto the gravel. Is that going to affect him down? And again, he's on the gravel. That's going to allow us in for a slipstream. Is it going to allow us an overtaking opportunity? But Senna is going to have the slipstream from that Ferrari engine, Ferrari car I should say, just ahead of us, and we're not anywhere near him to dive at the inside, and we remain in P4. But we are still all over the back of him as we head down to the quick right-left chicane. But you'd have to have space hoppers for testes if you were going to try and move there. But the Benettons seem to be really enjoying the new package, the new car that they brought to Monaco, but neither car really could show what it was made of. They just wanted to iron out a few creases, they said, which is the reason for bringing it, and they could really utilise it here. But they are not obviously on the pace of the front three teams. They did not expect to be. 1992 is where they really want to start fighting for Grand Prix victories, and they said that this is a massive step. And they've got Bertrand Gachot just in the distance, but these two seem to be having a nice battle of their own. Now we have lost a little bit of time now too, but we are going to dive into the pits. Laps 8 now. We're trying something a little different here. We were originally going to pit a few laps later than we currently are. But it's a slow stop. It's a slow stop. The Williams team have fumbled this opportunity to possibly overcut or undercut the two cars in front, and we have lost a heap of time. We still come out ahead of the two Benetton cars, but we are 17 seconds now behind Nigel Mansell, and that is nigh on a pit stop. Well, very nearly a pit stop behind Mansell. So we've got some fighting to do. We're just going to have to actually go on the ragged edge here. But this is Gerhard Berger, the race leader, who dives to pit lane. And he did have a 3-4 second cushion on Jean Alesi, so they won't need to panic themselves too much in the box. Is he going to hit his marks like so? Of course he is. Out of here we come. Who is he? He's going to want to try and avoid coming out behind anyone, but there's Nigel Mansell. Is he going to be able to get ahead of Nigel Mansell? He's not. He's going to lose out to Nigel Mansell, and that could affect Berger's laps coming up. As Senna's in. Oh, Prost follows him in. Senna and Prost both in the pits, getting their fresh tyres and fuel, and they both re-emerge. But where are they going to re-emerge? Senna obviously battling with Jean Alesi. And Berger's already gone through, Mansell's already gone through, so Berger will continue to lead this Grand Prix. But it's Alesi who currently leads the Grand Prix, my apologies. But these two need to be getting on with it. But here's Alesi, still yet to pit, and he doesn't pit this lap. He continues for another circuit. He has really got some good fuel on board. Maybe that's why he was a little bit slow in those early laps. But he's managing the tyres well. He's trying something different. Unless it's their only way they think they can beat Gerhard Berger. Go at him on fresh tyres at the end of the race. But we're back on board with ourselves here now. And we have got Alain Prost. So all of our hard work that we did early on in the Grand Prix, massively undone in the pits with a long stop. Just below 1 second now. P6, we're still on from 1 point at the very least. However, Nigel Mansell has also not pitted yet, so he should re-emerge behind us, considering the gap was around 16-17 seconds when we last saw a gap. But yeah, I wonder if we can get past Prost. Problem is we only got past Prost last time because of the mistake. We're going to rely on a mistake from Prost, but Alesi finally comes down pit lane. And he will beg for those fresh set of tyres. But how and what will be the gap to Gerhard Berger? But here is Berger. Looks actually fairly comfortable in his pursuit of reclaiming the first position at this 1991 French Grand Prix. There's Mansell. Still Mansell stays out. But we're going to switch back to Alesi here, who has come out behind, of course, Gerhard Berger. But has he lost too much time in hopes to try and chase him down at the end on fresh rubber? Senna has lost out massively to this. He's not been quick on this second phase of the Grand Prix. Something just not quite. Wonder if he's mentally left McLaren already. But it's a P3 on the cards, and there's a huge wobble in the background there from Game, chasing down Alain Prost. But we round the final corner. Are we going to get anywhere near that Prost? Anywhere near the Prost's Ferrari? It doesn't look likely. But who's this coming out the pits? It's Nigel Mansell coming out the pits. And we are just going to sweep just ahead of him. And we really did lose so much time in the pit stop phase. A gigantic amount of time. But we have lost a little bit more time now to Prost. He seems to have a little bit more legs on us than this last. But we have been on these tyres now for a lot longer than everyone else. I feel this would have worked. If we could have jumped ahead of a few people, I think it would have worked. But the slow stop didn't help. But it's Gerhard Berger, who's been relatively untroubled all Grand Prix. He takes the last few corners to round the final corner. And Gerhard Berger wins the French Grand Prix of 1991. And Alesi, despite a hard charge at the end, will come home in second place. He was gaining that gap though, just ran out of laps. And Senna will come home to take the third spot on the podium, but he will be looking for answers on that final pace at the end. And Prost comes home in fourth place. We are going to come home in fifth place with our teammate just behind us in sixth place. A little bit disappointing from the Williams team today, but it's just the pace wasn't really there. But it's the final lap. Johnny Herbert is keeping Michael Schumacher just ahead of him. It's a battle for pride. Schumacher clearly ruining his costly error in the hairpin on lap 1. He still hasn't managed to get past. But is he going to try and move here? He's not going to try and move there. I thought he was just going to chuck it up the inside. And it would appear he's ran out of any overtaking opportunities. He's had the pace to beat Johnny Herbert today. He just hasn't been able to get past. And rounds the final corner, and Johnny Herbert takes 10th and Schumacher takes 11th. And as we see here, the Grand Prix winner of today, the 1991 French Grand Prix winner, and it's Gerhard Berger for the first time here at Magny-Cours. Right, that's the final standings here. Gerhard Berger again wins the Grand Prix with Alesi, Senna, Prost, Game, Mansell, Patrese, Nannini, Gasho, Johnny Herbert rounding up the top 10. It's been fantastic. It's been an okay Grand Prix. Nothing to write home about. Eric Comas in the Ligier finishing in 13th. Nakajima Schumacher a little bit disappointed with his mistake into the hairpin, but the standings are as follow. Berger now retakes the championship lead, 2 points ahead of Game. Prost dropping back a little bit. Senna really needs a good couple of weekends if he wants to have any say in this World Championship. Lacey will want some good luck, but it's Mansell down there in 9th place with just 3 points. But if you've enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and join us next time for the British Grand Prix at Donington.